due to the astresia or foramen of Luxa and Magenta. So these are the all terminology you have to memorize. Now we come to the development of brain. So fusion of the neural fold in the cranial region form three primary brain vesicles, that is forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. That is prosencephalon, mesencephalon, and rhombencephalon. Please remember, if you in this whole, if you remember this three, then it's no use. So when Viva will ask, you have to say, what is the development of brain? You have to say, due to the fusion of from this prosencephalon, mesencephalon, rhombencephalon. Please remember this three or. So during development, forebrain divide into prosencephalon divided into telencephalon and dilencephalon. Hindbrain will divide into metencephalon and myelencephalon. Midbrain doesn't divide. Consequently, there are five secondary brain vesicles. Please draw this diagram and first practical A, B, C. Next practical, you have classes in that you have to draw an A4 size copy and draw these figures. Everyone make sure you'll bring the homework, this one. Forebrain, just draw like this. Make a forebrain that is prosencephalon, in midbrain mesencephalon and rhombencephalon. Again divide this like this, telencephalon, diencephalon. This is midbrain is not going to divide, so mesencephalon and rhombencephalon is again divided into metencephalon and myelencephalon. So in the wall, what we are getting in telencephalon, that is two cerebral hemisphere. Okay, and diencephalon will give thalami, hypothalamus, thalamus, all the structure, etc. Mesencephalon is giving midbrain, metencephalon pons and cerebellum, whereas myencephalon is giving medulla and the spinal cord. So what are the cavities? Just take a screenshot. If you don't want to open the slide, just take a screenshot in your mobile and write this figure. So what are the cavities? In cerebral hemisphere, you are getting lateral ventricles. In diencephalon, you are getting third ventricle. In midbrain, you are getting adequate. And in pons, you are getting upper part of fourth ventricle. And low in the lower part of the fourth ventricle. Make sure all of you have taken the screenshot. You have to draw this, bring this homework. Now these are the derivatives. So write it down. Telencephalon, this is the same, I just elaborate, cerebral hemisphere and lateral ventricle. Diencephalon, it gives thalamus, hypothalamus, and third ventricle. This is the Viva question. What are the derivatives of telencephalon? So it should be on the tip of the tongue. Telencephalon, cerebral hemisphere, lateral ventricle. Diencephalon, thalamus, hypothalamus, and third ventricle. Similarly, metathalamus and lateral and medial geniculate body. Epithalamus, pineal body, adrenal triangle, posterior commissure, and subthalamus. All thalamus, metathalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, so all are coming in the diencephalon. Form midbrain or mesencephalon, which is not going to divide, so it will give midbrain aqueducts of syllables, cross syllabi, substantia nigra, tegmentum, tectum. If you remember the midbrain and all the structure is coming from here, mesencephalon. Now we'll talk about the rhombencephalon or hindbrain. So it is divided into metencephalon and myencephalon. So in metencephalon, you are getting pons, cerebellum, upper part of the fourth ventricle. Myencephalon, you are getting medulla oblongata and fourth part of the ventricle. From the lower part of the neural tube, we are getting spinal cord and the central kernel. Hello? Hello? Yes, ma'am. Please don't tell me, ma'am, you go so fast, we can't hear you and we don't understand. Please, if you don't understand any of the slide, I don't care, but you have to draw this figure and you have to tell me about this. This two slide. Are you clear about this two slide? Yes, ma'am. Now the brain fractures. What are the fractures of brain? You have to look at this: cervical, mesencephalic, and this is pontine flexures. These are the three flexures. So relative position is altered by appearance of flexures. So in the midbrain fractures, mesencephalic fracture or cephalic fracture, three of the name for one. So in the cephalic fractures occur in the ear. This is what in the midbrain region. That is mesencephalic fracture. Another fracture is called cervical fractures at the junction of hindbrain and this is hindbrain and spinal cord. This is cervical fracture. Now, after this formation of two fracture, another fracture. This is mesencephalic fracture. This is cervical fracture. Now, after appearance of this two fracture, what is happening? Look at it. This is pontine flexure at the roof of the hindbrain, divided into metencephalon and mesencephalon. First is procephalon, mesencephalon, rhombencephalon. So here, what is happening? Mesencephalic flexure will occur here. After that, cervical flexure will form, and after that, pontine flexure will come. So it is divided like this. Again, in the telencephalon, there is flexure between telencephalon and the diencephalon. So first you have to remember major flexor, mesencephalic, cephalic flexor, cervical flexor, pontine flexor. After that you have to remember telencephalic flexors. So these are the flexors of brain which alter the appearance or position. So from telencephalon, what are the derivatives? We'll put these figures in a viva or and we'll ask what are these derivatives, what are these derivatives. There is also model in our department. Then we'll ask you, and this is it is drawn like this, and we'll ask you the derivatives. So we'll come and brief about the development from metencephalon. So it is characterized by the basal and the LR plate. Metencephalon is characterized by the LR and basal plates. So two components, that is cerebellum and pons, is forming over here. So cerebellum, how it is formed? In the dorsal lateral part, look at it, this is LR plate. So in the dorsal lateral part of the LR plate, rhombic lip is forming. This is look at it, this is the rhombic lip. So further deepening of the pontine flexures, the rhombic lip will move, compress cephalocaudally and forms the cerebral plate. Look at here, this is the cerebral part. First LR plate, it will form the rhombic lip. Just you make the flow chart. First LR plate will form the rhombic lip and flexure will occur, then it convert into this cerebral plate. Okay. In the 12th week of embryo, this plate shows small midline portion known as the vermis. So in 12 week, you can see in this cerebral plate, first the cerebral plate is forming. In the cerebral plate, in the 12th week, you can see in the mid portion vermis and two lateral hemisphere. So this is the vermis and this is two lateral cerebrums. So what is first you have to remember LR plate, then rhombic lip, then pontine flexure will appear, then the cerebral plate is formed, and that in the 12th week there will be vermis and cerebral hemisphere. So this is the development of cerebellum. Now, cell from the LR plate give rise to dentate nucleus, pontine nuclear, and cochlear and vestibulocochlear nucleus. These are the derivatives you have to memorize. And bands of nerve fiber cross the median plane and it reforms the pons. So, first cerebrum is forming, then you can see the formation of the pons. Look at it. This is the pontine nuclei. It is forming over here. Now, midbrain, mesencephalon. Neural canal that passes through the midbrain narrows the cerebral aqueduct. So this is the cerebral aqueduct. Can you see here? This is cerebral aqueduct. It connects the third and fourth ventricle. So this is cerebral aqueduct. It narrows in the midbrain and it forms it's connect the third and fourth ventricle. Neuroblasts migrate from the LR plate of the midbrain into the tectum roof and aggregate to form the superior colliculus and the inferior. So this is superior colliculus and the inferior colliculus is forming. Okay. First, this is inferior colliculus. This is superior colliculus. So this is cerebral aqueduct. Again, from the marginal layer of each basal plate, enlarged forms the cross cerebri. This is the cross cerebri, so this will enlarge in the basal plate to form the cross cerebri. Neuroblast from the basal plate give rise to the neuron of tegmentum, red nuclei. You have studied all of this. So third and fourth cranial nerve nuclei, reticular nuclei, and substantia nigra. So you can see here, this is third nucleus, this is red nucleus, this is substantia nigra, this is cross cerebri. So all are the structure of midbrain or part of the midbrain. Or cerebral peduncles fibers forms on the cerebrum passing to the midbrain, brainstem, and the spinal cord. In cerebrum also, you have to study how the cerebral peduncle is formed. Here also you can see the peduncles like this. Prosencephalon. Hello, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
I think only you are there. Rest are sleeping. So prosencephalon, forebrain, it consists of telencephalon and diencephalon. Telencephalon, it forms the cerebral hemisphere. Okay, so I have discussed in previous slide also. Telencephalon forms the cerebral hemisphere, whereas diencephalon, it forms the optic curve, stalks, pituitary. We have discussed all the MUS, hypothalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, all structures are forming from this diencephalon. So look at here, you can see here, epithalamus, thalamus, hypothalamus, all are forming in this diencephalon. Swelling develop in the lateral wall of the third ventricle. Look at here, this is third ventricle. So swelling will form in this lateral wall of the third ventricle, and it forms the epithalamus, thalamus, and hypothalamus. So thalamus develop rapidly and bulges into the cavity of third ventricle. So here, for the kind information, I'm taking the gross of thalamus. During that time, I'll ask the development of this diencephalon. Please, if you are sleeping, also get up and alert. So, what are the derivatives of diencephalon? Then hypothalamus, it arises from the proliferation of the neuroblast in the intermediate zone of the diencephalon. Then epithalamus. Now, telencephalon. It consists of two lateral outbucketing of cerebral hemisphere. This is the only one you can see over here. And middle portion of lamina terminalis. Look at it. This is lamina terminalis and this is cerebral hemisphere. The cavity of the hemisphere and lateral ventricle communicate with the lumen to the diencephalon through interventricular foramen of Monro. So you can see the foramen of Monro over here. And can you see this is the interventricular foramen of Monro. So it communicates the diencephalon through this lateral ventricle. And mesencephalon trapped between this gives rise to the pec cerebri pole of the durameter. And later there is formation of the corpus striatum. So this you have to remember all this. First you have to know the name, then only you'll understand. So just make the point and write it down. So this is meningoencephalosis, microcephaly, and this is hydrocephalus. Due to the obstruction in cerebrospinal fluid pathway, overproduction of CSF, failure of reabsorption, and abnormal quality of CSF accumulate into the ventricular system. So this you can see here, this is hydrocephalus. This is one of the major congenital anomalies. Anencephaly, you can see neural tube remain open in the brain region and they expose the brain tissue and it's delayed. This is the anencephaly. Another is android tardy type malformation. You can see over here, this is inward amend of postcranial fossa skull and the spinal column. Cerebellum herniate through the foramen magnum. In our basalis, we have we have talked about it. If cerebellum herniate like this, then caudal descent of brainstem also. So foreventricle narrow in the lower and great trap and herniated. Wait, I'll repeat this one. This is very, very, very important. What you have to remember is alar plate and basal plates. And you have to remember this efferents and the efferents. So, can you see? This is somatic efferent. This is spatial visceral efferent. This is general visceral efferent. Now, likewise, here is spatial somatic efferent, general somatic. Just write E and just alter the E and F. But here is one another is spatial somatic efferent. And general somatic efferent, spatial visceral efferent, and general visceral efferent. Then you have to memorize the nucleus which are present in this. So I'll repeat this slide again. Please look at it. And remember this formula SAME. S means sensory are afferent and motor are efferent. Please remember the same. And this is basal plate and this is alar plate. And in between basal and alar plate, you see the sulcus limitant. The sulcus limitant divide this into two. After that, what will happen in the alar plate? Neuroblasts of the alar plate form the nuclei. What sensory nuclei? What are they? This is okay. Look at it. This is general visceral efferent, spatial visceral efferent, and another is general afferent. These are the three structures. Okay, and so you go through it. And what is a general visceral efferent? Impulse from viscera. It this is visceral, so obviously from viscera impulse is coming. And from which nucleus? Dorsal nucleus of vagus. Okay, just remember V. This general visceral efferent, impulse coming from viscera, so visceral, and another V, that is dorsal nucleus of vagus, from this general visceral efferent coming. Another is spatial visceral efferent. It receives a spatial, always test is spatial visceral, so it will come from solitary nucleus of 7 cranial nerve, 9 cranial nerve, and 10. Okay, 7, 9, 10. Solitary nucleus of 7, 9, 10. So you have to test sensation. It will provide spatial visceral afferent. Now we'll talk about general visceral efferent. So first in LR page, sorry, this is all afferent. Okay. Edengal west part, north superior salivary nucleus and inferior salivary nucleus of dorsal nucleus of vagus. And somatic efferent, spatial visceral. What are this? They divide into three, and you divide all the efferent and efferent. Okay. This will be, you look at here. First, it is like somatic afferent will come here and somatic efferent will come here. First slide. And second, you have to see somatic visceral efferent is coming in the LR lamina, and this is visceral efferent is coming in the basal lamina. And third one is brachial afferent is coming here, and fourth word is brachial efferent is coming here. So all this alar lamina you can see the afferent, and in all the basal lamina you can see the efferent. So this is the conclusion. So you draw this figure and you write down all the efferent and afferent nucleus. So this is another homework you have to do. You have to draw this figure and you have to write the efferent and efferent, and you have to write the nucleus. Are you clear? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not here.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to repeat the slide.
No, ma'am.
So you have two homework about the basal and alar lamina. That means about the efferents and afferent fibers and their nucleus. And another is This one. Which side you have to repeat? Do you need revision?
Continue na, ma'am.
Okay, this in conclusion, I'll tell you, no? First, what you have to remember is origin of nervous system. It always occur from neuroectoderm. This is the MCQ question which will be asked. What is the structure, derivatives of neuroectoderm? Then you have to say brain and spinal cord. Or they may ask which structure will give the brain and spinal cord. Then you have to say neuroectoderm. So what will happen in the third week? In the neural plate will thicken and it forms the plate fold and it forms the it forms the neural group and it forms this neural tube. So this is the neural tube. It's separate from the neural epithelium. After that, what are the closure? 25 days, 27 days. This is the closure of this floor. And what are the structures we have discussed about this, and how the spinal cord is formed in the lateral wall of the neural tube. It is thickened and neuroepithelium. It first forms the neuroblast cells and it gives the mental layer and marginal layer. This is white in color and this is mental layer, and all the LR and basal lamina is coming on this mental layer. Okay? So this is the mental layer, all the LR and basal lamina is forming over here. And this same structure I have told you, these are the nucleus. This I divide into nucleus, and this figure, this is more easy to remember. This you divide the mental layer in alar and by basal lamina into ventral and dorsal. It is separated by the sulcus limitans. Okay, and you just put it down likewise. First somatic afferent, somatic efferent. You go like visceral efferent, and brachial efferent, and you draw this one. After that, it will separate. Neural crest cell will separate from here, and these are the derivatives of neural crest cells. And you have to remember this one also. Position of spinal cord, L3 and L1, and you have to remember why L3 and why L1, because there's a rapid growth of the vertebral column and the dura mater. So this is also another frequently asked question: myelination of nerve fibers. So spinal cord is myelin sheath of spinal cord is forming by oligodendrocytes and myelin sheath of peripheral nerve fibers by the Schwann cells. I haven't taken attendance. Okay, you have, and this is most probably you know about this. All of you make sure you will draw this diagram and I'll ask the question. हुन्छ कि हुँदैन? So these are the flexures: cephalic flexures, cervical flexure, pontine flexures, telencephalic flexures. Yeah. Hello?
Yes,
Can I
ma'am.
fast? I'm not hearing you. What's going on? सुन्दै सुन्दैन हौ तिमीहरूलाई?